I had this friend back in college. Let's call him Josh. He wasn't the type of guy who turned heads the second he walked into a room. He didn't have the sharp jawline, the luxury wardrobe, or the kind of swagger you see in movies. He didn't hit the gym every day or try to be the mysterious bad boy. In fact, if anything, he came off as completely ordinary. He was chill, unassuming, and a little goofy. But here's the strange part. Girls were always around him, and not just being polite or friendly. A lot of them were genuinely into him. They'd go out of their way to spark conversation, hang around longer than necessary, and laugh way too hard at jokes that honestly weren't that clever. At first, I chalked it up to dumb luck. Maybe he was just in the right place at the right time, but over time, it happened too often to be a coincidence. I started to notice a pattern. Meanwhile, some of our friends, the guys with the flashy cars, expensive cologne, and carefully curated Instagram feeds, were trying everything they could to attract attention and getting nowhere. They'd buy drinks, drop compliments, use rehearsed pickup lines, or flex about their job or connections, but it almost never worked. You could practically see the effort pouring off them. And the girls? They weren't impressed. Josh, on the other hand, would just sit there, relaxed, maybe sipping on coffee or cracking a harmless joke. No pressure, no act, no need to prove anything. And somehow, he'd leave with a girl's number, or at the very least, with her still thinking about him. It didn't make sense until I finally asked him. One night I said, "Dude, what's your secret?" expecting some clever trick. He just laughed at first, shrugged like it was no big deal, and then said something that really stuck with me. He said, "I don't try to make girls like me. I just try to make them feel good when they're around me." At the time, I didn't get it. It sounded too vague, too easy, almost like a cop-out. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Over the years, I started to really notice what was happening. The girls weren't drawn to him because of some flashy exterior. They were drawn to the feeling they got when they were with him. Around Josh, they could let their guard down. They didn't feel judged or pressured. He made them laugh, feel relaxed, and most importantly, feel seen. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was just being present. He didn't chase or play games. He gave off this energy that said, "I'm comfortable with who I am, and you can be comfortable too." And that made all the difference. It wasn't about being the best looking guy in the room. It was about how you made someone feel in the moments they shared with you. And that's when I realized something that most guys never figure out. Attraction isn't always logical. It isn't about checking boxes or following a script. Sometimes it's just about creating a space where someone else feels good. Because when you do that, they start to associate those feelings with you. And that's where real connection begins. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes. Because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing. But I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. And it reminded me of another friend, someone I'd known since high school. Let's call him Adam. He was one of the kindest, most genuine people I knew, but when it came to dating, he struggled. Hard. Every time he caught feelings for someone, he'd go all in. Compliments, late night texts, thoughtful gifts, random acts of kindness. You name it, he did it. He wasn't sleazy or manipulative about it either. He was sincere, open-hearted, and obviously interested. But time and time again, the story played out the same way. The girl would seem flattered at first, maybe even curious, but then, slowly, she'd pull away. Sometimes it was gentle, an excuse here, a delayed reply there. Other times, it was blunt. "You're such a great friend." And just like that, he was benched in the friend zone. The strange part, there were always other girls he wasn't pursuing, who clearly liked him. They'd laugh at his jokes, initiate conversations, even flirt, but he never noticed them. Or if he did, he brushed it off. His focus was always on the one girl he thought he needed to win over. Eventually, it started to click for him. One night, after yet another disappointment, we had a long conversation. He said something that hit different. I think when I really like someone, I try so hard not to mess it up, that I end up doing exactly that. What he realized was this: when he genuinely liked a girl, he put her on a pedestal. Every word he said, every text he typed, every move he made was calculated. He became self-conscious, second-guessing himself constantly. And that shift, that pressure he put on the situation, it made everything feel awkward. He was trying to be perfect instead of real. And that energy, nervous, overly eager, too focused, changed how girls felt around him. It didn't feel effortless. It didn't feel fun. It felt like something was expected of them. But when he wasn't trying to impress anyone, when he was just being himself, he was a completely different guy. He was playful, relaxed, quick-witted. He had this low-key confidence, the kind that made people want to be around him. That version of him didn't overthink or chase approval. He was just easy to like. And ironically, that's when girls were the most drawn to him. It wasn't about him changing who he was, it was about getting out of his own way. Because when he stopped trying to control the outcome, when he stopped treating attraction like a checklist or a mission, he started creating moments that actually mattered. Moments where people could feel something real. And in the end, that made all the difference. He once told me about this one particular experience at the gym. By that point, he had been working out consistently for about a year, and the gym had become more than just a place to exercise. It was his sanctuary, a space where he felt strong, capable, and in control. That environment gave him a quiet kind of confidence, one that wasn't loud or flashy, but steady and real. He wasn't there to impress anyone or to flirt. He was simply focused on himself, on improving, and on enjoying the process. One day, while taking a break between sets, he struck up some casual conversation with a girl who worked out there regularly. It wasn't anything dramatic or intense, just small talk about workouts, music, and the usual gym banter, sprinkled with the occasional light-hearted joke. There was no pressure, no heavy expectations, just a relaxed, natural connection forming bit by bit. Over time, something interesting happened. She started to find reasons to be around him more often. She'd ask when he planned to be at the gym next, make little comments that hinted at her interest, and even throw in some playful flirting. None of this was orchestrated or forced. It just happened naturally. At first, he didn't even realize she was interested. He wasn't chasing her or trying to win her over. He was just being present. Looking back, he understood that what made the difference wasn't some grand gesture or clever line. It was simply how she felt when she was around him. He wasn't putting on a show or pressuring her in any way. He was easy to talk to, relaxed, and genuine. The atmosphere they shared felt good to her, safe, comfortable, and fun. That feeling she associated with being around him, that's what attraction really boils down to. It's not about physical looks or status. It's about emotional connection, about creating a space where someone feels positive and alive. When a person links those good feelings to you, attraction naturally follows, and that's the kind of attraction that lasts. It reminded me of a study I once came across that showed women are far more likely than men to remember emotionally charged events. This isn't a weakness or flaw, it's simply biology. Women, on average, are naturally more emotionally attuned. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. Women have traditionally been the primary caregivers, responsible for nurturing and raising children. To do that successfully, they had to be highly sensitive to emotional cues, picking up on subtle signs that something was right or wrong in their environment. This heightened emotional awareness is deeply wired into their brains. When it comes to dating and attraction, this biological fact means that emotional experiences carry extra weight. It's not just about what's said or done, it's about how it makes someone feel on a deeper level. Creating positive, memorable emotional moments can leave a lasting impression far stronger than looks, status, or material things ever could. It's important to clarify though, it's not about being overly emotional or dramatic. It's about fostering genuine, positive feelings. That's why some of the most successful guys, the ones who seem to effortlessly connect with women wherever they go, aren't necessarily the best looking, the richest, or the smoothest talkers. Instead, they're the ones who know how to make a girl laugh, feel comfortable, and truly seen for who she is. They create emotional impact through their presence, energy, and the way they make others feel in their company. A good friend of mine once took a girl rock climbing on their very first date. Now, it wasn't your typical romantic dinner or a cozy movie night, far from it. Rock climbing is physically demanding, a bit risky, and definitely outside most people's comfort zones, but that's exactly why it works so well. The date was filled with little moments of adrenaline, shared challenges, and genuine laughter. He didn't have to put on a show or try too hard. Instead, he simply supported her when she needed help, made light jokes to ease any tension, and celebrated every small victory she achieved on the wall. There was a natural flow to their interaction, a shared experience that created a bond without needing fancy words or grand gestures. Later on, she told him that it was one of the best dates she had ever been on. Why? Because it was memorable, authentic, and emotional. It wasn't about impressing her with money or status. It was about making her feel alive, safe, and genuinely connected. That memory stayed with her long after the day was over. Now, contrast that with the typical fancy dinner scenario where the guy is visibly nervous, overthinking every word, and focusing too much on himself. The conversation might revolve around his achievements, his job, or trying to sound interesting. The atmosphere feels forced, and instead of relaxing and enjoying the moment, both people end up feeling awkward or bored. Those kinds of dates often don't leave much of an impression and quickly fade from memory. The key takeaway here is this: it's not the setting or how much money you spend that matters. It's the emotions you create. The way you make someone feel is what stays with them. The excitement, the joy, the comfort, or even the thrill of trying something new together. Emotional memories are powerful. When you create moments that stir positive emotions, you build a connection that goes beyond superficial attraction and lasts far longer. Here's something that most people completely overlook. Making someone feel good isn't just about being nice. Being nice is the bare minimum. It's expected, and honestly, it's pretty passive. Anyone can be nice if they try. But truly making someone feel good? That takes something much deeper and more active. It means being playful and spontaneous, showing up fully in the moment, and genuinely engaging with her on a level beyond surface niceties. It's about really listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but truly hearing what she says, noticing the little details about her mood and interest, and responding in a way that makes her feel understood and appreciated. There's an art to teasing that's lighthearted and fun without ever becoming mean or hurtful. The goal is to create an environment where she feels safe and free to be her authentic self, while you hold your own confidence and boundaries without shrinking away. Now, let's be honest, this isn't always easy. Most guys freeze up or get stuck inside their heads when they're around someone they are attracted to. That's totally normal and happens to almost everyone. But the real secret lies in being grounded in who you are. Confidence isn't some magical trait that you're born with. It's something you build over time, whether that means working out, diving into passions that make you come alive, or surrounding yourself with friends who lift you up. Confidence grows from putting in the work on yourself. And confidence is contagious. When you believe in yourself, others pick up on it naturally. When my friend told me the turning point in his love life came from realizing one fundamental truth, that what really attracts girls is how you make them feel, it hit me how powerful and simple that idea really is. It wasn't about games, manipulation, or tricks. It was about becoming a guy who offers something real and meaningful, not looks, not money, not smooth lines, but genuine emotion, authentic energy, and unwavering presence. Wouldn't it be nice if humans were as simple as animals? Just flash a shiny rock or do a little dance and boom, instant connection. Sure, that sounds easy, but human emotions are far more complex and layered. Our connections need depth and authenticity to truly spark. The magic happens when you learn to make someone feel something meaningful, especially something positive and uplifting. When you can create moments that touch her emotionally, that's when attraction truly ignites and real relationships start to take shape. That's where the real power lies. Not in superficial charm, but in the emotional resonance you leave behind. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.